Okay, today I'm going to teach you about how to draw a city block, like a city corner, in two-point perspective. And perspective means to show something um, as if it had depth, as if it looked 3D. And when we're doing it on a paper, it looks 3D on a 2D surface because the paper only has height and it only has width. And we're going to make it appear as if there's a 3D object on there. Okay, so what I need to do first, you can use any size paper that you want. My paper here is 12 inches long. So at about the halfway point, which is 6, and maybe an inch or so down, I'm going to make a mark. I'm going to do the same thing at the bottom of the page, except for I'm going to make it a little bit more of a distance away, maybe 2 inches or so from the bottom of the paper, but again, that mark is at the halfway point. So I'm going to do the halfway point on this end too. So this paper is 9 inches tall. So at 4.5 inches, which is half, I'm going to make a dot. I'm going to do the same thing on this side and create a dot for my halfway mark there. So now I kind of have a diamond shape with my dots. I'm going to connect that shape. I'm going to go dot to dot and draw a line. Usually you'd want to draw kind of lightly so that you don't see pencil marks in your final product. However, I want to draw dark enough so that you can see what I'm trying to do. So I'm just lining up the dots and connecting them. I'm also going to make a dot or a line between these two dots, the top and the bottom dot. These 2 points are going to be your vanishing points. That's why we call it two-point perspective. You could do one-point perspective pictures. They're a little bit more simple than a two-point perspective picture. So now we have our basic city block shape. Now we're going to start to create the stores. The first store that's in the foreground that's closest to me is going to have a wider width than the stores that are going to be further away. So make sure your ruler is perfectly perpendicular to the bottom of the paper, and you draw a line. Now, my first store is that wide. My second store can't be as wide because it's going into the distance, because things that go into the distance are smaller than things that are closer to you. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a few more stores. They're slowly getting closer and closer together so that they look further and further away. Now, you don't have to make your picture symmetrical. Mine's going to kind of look symmetrical, but it won't be exactly perfect. The city blocks don't have to be symmetrical to make them realistic. Okay, so there's the basic shape. Right now I'm going to draw a sidewalk, which is going to help add to the realism. So I'm going to drop down from this line a little bit. I'm going to make a dot here. I'm going to match that dot with my vanishing point on that side of the page and draw a line. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. This is the part of the sidewalk where the people would be walking. Now I'm going to go down a little ways. I'm creating the curb or the step up into the sidewalk. I'm going to make a little dot there. I'm going to have to match that dot with my vanishing point on this side. Draw a line. Same thing on this side. Match it to the vanishing point and draw a line. Now I have my basic sidewalk. I'm going to go ahead and start to draw some lines in the sidewalk as if they were the cracks in the cement. Make sure your ruler's parallel with the bottom of the paper. I'm going to go ahead and draw lines in the sidewalk. That's my first crack. The foreground cracks are going to be much wider than the cracks that are going to go into the distance. So when I think it looks good, go ahead and draw those sidewalk cracks. And as I go up the page, my ruler's going to get closer and closer to the crack that I had just previously had drawn. And you continue up the page that way. Doing good. Okay. That'll be the end of part 1, and I will show you part 2.